Hello, my name is Zinger from Terrytown, and welcome to your Zinger 270BH. I'm just going to start this off by saying I believe it just got done in prep. Not entirely sure yet, but either way, it is still in the prep bay. So if you do see some stuff laying around, it's going to get picked up and whatnot. But I'm just going to continue on anyway. Starting right up front, here's going to be your front power tongue jack. You're going to have a light, just in case you do need to hook up at night. And just to the right of that is going to be up and down for your power tongue jack there. And then just up top, this little tab, you can remove this just in case this does ever electrically go out. You can insert a tool there and end up manually overriding it there. And if I can take that off there, you have your both propane tanks. And then when it is, I'll try to get this camera flipped around here. This little piece will be red or clear when there is propane going through it. So it looks like there is some going through it. As you can see, it's cleared there. Otherwise, it is going to be red. And then whenever, one tank runs out, it is going to turn red. You just flip it to the next one, open this one up. So whichever one's red, open it up. If it's out, then just flip to the next one. You have your battery right here, and then your battery disconnect. It's pretty self-explanatory. It disconnects the battery from the inside of the camper, so whether you want power on or power off, you just flip that switch to the labeled area. Moving on, you're going to have your 25-foot drinking hose here, a 110 adapter just in case you do need to plug into your house at any time. And then you also have your sewer hose here, which I do recommend getting a better one. Then you have another little storage area here. And then here we are. So this is going to be your sewer system. So you're going to have your black tank and then your gray tank. Your black tank is going to be for your toilet and sewer, or sewage, I should say. And just to the right of that is going to be your gray tank, which is going to be showers and sinks. So when you do go to empty it, you just go ahead and pull the black tank. I recommend doing that one first because there's going to be solids that try and come out. So when that's open, it's going to, drain out. And when that is open, I do recommend, like I said, leaving it open. And then when it's done, come back here. Here it is. And put a pressurized hose into this area here. This is going to be your black tank flush. So that is going to flush out your black tank. So like I said 100 times before, when your black tank is open and it's done flushing, leave that open and come back here to your black tank flush. Put a pressurized hose in and it's going to flush everything out. And when you're done, just take the hose out of that. Come back over here. And then go ahead, close your black tank up and then open your gray tank up. Now I might recommend doing the gray tank last just because that is the cleanest water out of the two. So when it does go to flush, it'll kind of wipe out your little sewer hose before you go ahead and put your hands back on there. Moving back here, you're going to have your city water connection. Oops. Your city water connection. So basically, when you get to a campground, this is going to be your main water source here. Right down there, you can kind of see it there. When you pop that little lid up, that's going to be your cable and satellite inputs there. Your outside shower here, so that's just going to contain your, outside shower, but it's going to be a hot, cold side of the lines, your shower head and hose all inside here. And then here we are for your water heater. The main thing, just make sure this is on nice and tight. I'm more of just going to set it on here more of just for a visual purpose. But once that's on and nice and tight, go to the inside of your camper and turn on the hot side of the faucet. And then this will kind of sputter and stuff like that on the inside. And then it will eventually have a steady flow of a steady flow of water out the hot side of the faucet. So I'm just going to go over that one more time. Make sure that's nice and tight. And then when you have a steady flow of water coming out the hot side of the faucet, you are able to then turn this on, use it, do what you need to do. When it comes time to empty it, just go ahead, pull this little pressure release valve here. That is going to hiss, obviously releasing the pressure. And then when it's done, go ahead, pop this off again. If I can, there we go. And once that's off, the water's going to shoot right out of there. And this is going to be for your power stabilizer jacks. So you just hold, extend, or retract. Sometimes one side will go down before the other. Don't worry about it. It's still fine. Luckily, these are going out at the same time. And then basically when they hit, hold it for another like half second or so. So right. So as soon as you feel that pressure engage, go ahead and let go, because it's not meant to raise it. It's just meant to have, pressure on there to stabilize. And when you're done, you just hold retract, and it goes back up. And then, like I mentioned before, black tank flush. Then this is going to be your furnace exhaust. So when your furnace is on, all the extra heat is going to be kicking out of here. So for little kids, animals, anything like that, just try to keep them away from this. If you do have some sort of TV outside, or you need to plug in your phone or anything like that, here's 110 outlets. And you also have little cable inputs in case, like I said, you do have a small TV outside. This is going to be your fresh tank fill. So it's just a big tank inside your system that you can take portable water with you. So if you're out in the middle of nowhere, you will still be able to have running water while you're not hooked up to city water connection. So, like I said, just a big tank that you can take with you. And then you're going to need to turn on your water pump, and that water pump is going to draw water from this tank and push it through your lines. Right down here is going to be that fresh tank drain. So when you do go to empty this after a vacation, just go ahead and pull that little tab there, and that is then going to empty out. Then you have your front power stabilizer jack crank there, and then just the other side of your storage right here. And then that little crank in the bag right there is also going to double as a manual override for that front power tongue jack there. Open this up, make sure your door is completely open. And then these little pieces in the corner here, you can kind of see them move. Just make sure that when you twist this, they're both out, and you go ahead and pull, and it is going to open up. Then we are going to go inside here, and we flip on all these lights. Right here, like I said, some of these might be full just because it's still in prep. But others, you're gonna have your battery fill, or your battery here. You can see that that's full. Your fresh tank, black tank, and then your grays and auxiliary. Everything is emptied, so I do believe it's done. But other than that, I'm just gonna keep going on. That's just gonna be all of your readers, so it tells you how full they're getting. So when you do need to empty them, it'll eventually start to grow. You have your water pump, so like I mentioned before with that fresh tank, go ahead and flick that on when you need to draw water from your fresh tank. You have two elements to your water heater, gas and electric. So whichever one you choose. If you're at a campground, I recommend sticking to electric. Unless you don't really care about your propane, then you can go ahead and turn on your LP gas, or just do both. And then I mentioned before all the lights, which includes your awning and then all of your indoor lights. Slide in and out. So I'm just gonna hold this. So when this fully extends, it's gonna sound a little scary, just because it's the motor reaching its limit. So it's gonna sound like a gear grinding noise. But as soon as you hear that, just go ahead and let go. It's not gonna hurt anything unless you keep holding it down. But you'll hear it here in just a second. Once you hear that noise, go ahead and let go. And then right here is gonna be your awning switch. Your awning, the only thing you're gonna really wanna pay attention to is when it fully extends, it'll have like the little excess flap kind of fall down. That's just the end of the awning. And then you'll be able to see the black bars kind of sitting out behind it. Right here, gray is going to be for your main doors and cabin, or not your cabin doors, but your baggage doors. And then the silver ones here are going to be for your outside shower. Right here is going to be your sound bar. So you just tap to turn on. And then you have A and B, which is going to be inside and outside speakers. You have this little source button here, which you can change to USB, Bluetooth, anything like that. You can kind of see it flipping up top. You're gonna have your volume up and down here, and you're gonna have your radio station switch there, and then you have your aux and USB there, and then you just tap to turn off. There's not really a whole lot for your bedroom. Just if you do decide to put a TV in here, backer location there, and then you're going to have your input and then your 110 outlets for that. Microwave. You're gonna have your light and fan here. And then for your oven and stove, let me get that open. Tap to turn on, and then just press turn to release the gas, and then you spark to ignite. You always want to spark to the right, because if you turn or try and spark to the left and turn it this way, it's going to snap off. So that's why you always turn to the right. So that goes for the rest of these burners here. And then this far right one is going to be for your oven. So the main place you're going to want to be looking is right there. That's going to be your igniter, and then where the gas comes out. So keep an eye on that. Press in, turn to the pilot symbol, spark, spark, spark until you see a flame back there. And go ahead and then turn to your desired temperature. Right down here is going to be your carbon monoxide detector. So with that is always going to be running just as a safety feature. And it has a little green light on it there that shows that it's on. And like I said, it's always going to be running, which is also a downfall because if you're not hooked up to anything, that will drain your battery. So when you turn your battery disconnect off, just double check that little green light is off, because sometimes it can be stubborn, but it should turn off with your battery disconnect. But worst case, if it doesn't, just take the negative end off of your battery as a safety procedure. Right here is going to be your breakers and fuses. All of your breakers are going to be labeled just like a house would be. And then for your fuses, I do recommend bringing some extras. You can pick those up at like an auto parts store or something like that. And then for your fridge, you just tapped or you hold here. It's going to beep to turn on. 5 is going to be the coldest. 1 is just going to be cold. But you can choose between the refrigerator and then the freezer there. Whichever one you want the coldest, you can go ahead and choose that there, play around with it, do whatever you'd like. And then that's just going to be like a nighttime mode. There's not really a whole point to it, just kind of makes it quieter. And then right here, for your thermostat, you choose your temperature by sliding this little thing back and forth. And then you choose your temperature as well by choosing the system option. So whether you want it to cool, flip all the way to the left. If you just want air flowing and you want the fan on, do 1 over. Off is going to be the 3rd slot, and then heat is going to be the 4th slot all the way far right. And then when you do have it on fan, you can control your fan settings through there. For your toilet, there's just going to be 3 main things. It's a foot flush, so you just press down with your foot there and it's going to flush. And then you are going to need RV grade toilet paper and toilet solution. The toilet solution is going to help break down solids and smells, and then the toilet paper is also going to help break down and just make sure everything flows and doesn't clog and breaks down nice and easy. But the last thing I'm going to talk about is your AC vent. So when this is open, it's just going to dump straight out the bottom here, and then, well, start to cool your main area. But mainly people will just do that, or it's really just made for when you get to a campground first thing, trailer's hot, you just need air flowing right away. Open these up, let it dump out. When it starts to cool down, go ahead, close these back up, and since it is ducted, it isn't going to flow through your ceiling and come out the little white circles into your ceiling. But other than that, that has been your brief orientation. If you do have any questions, please bring them in during your pickup, or just feel free to email me back and I can help get those answers for you. Other than that, that has been your orientation, and I hope you enjoy.